Yeah, guys. So in previous class, what we have seen that we have seen the slicers for the producer, and we have seen that the value in this slicer should come from the dimension table. Okay, and we have also seen the data modeling in which we have seen that dimension table will be filtering out the fact table. Okay, so dimension table like this primary producer or producer table will filter out my sales table. Okay, now and in which we have simply seen the revenue, wherein when I select producer one, it will going to give me the producer one's revenue. If I choose producer two, it will going to give me producer two salary. Apart from this, this reflect total salary, wherein if I select any of the producer, the value this revenue is not impacted by the value selection here. So I will change this header from where we have started the recording. Yeah, so this is total revenue, right? So let me go back to the tile and let me type total revenue in place of revenue. So I will type total revenue. Okay. So this is total revenue, and these are not impacted by the value selection in the slices. So it remains same. Now there is a questions in which we need percentage contribution of producer one revenue, like how much, like this is 40K is amount of revenue contributed by producer one, but this 1310.669K is the revenue contributed by all together, like producer 1, producer 2, producer 3, producer 4, and producer 5. All the producer combined contributed this amount of revenue. Now we need percentage contribution of revenue, means revenue divided by total revenue. So like we're going to create one measure, and we'll name that measure as revenue contribution, and we'll use a function or dax function. So I will name this measure as revenue contribution, and what I will do, I will use divide function. Okay, so I will use divide function. Let me increase the font. So I will use divide function. So divide function need two things. First numerator, and thus then denominator. So numerator will be this revenue value. You know this revenue value. So I will type the name of the measure. To directly call any measure, you just need to put the square bracket. So if I put the square bracket in the here, I will be getting all the revenue value only. All the revenue value. Okay, so I will use this revenue measure. Then uh, let me see what is the name of this measure. So if I just click out the formula bar, Power BI will try to complete this divide function, and since I have not provided the second parameter, so it is saying argument 2 is missing. So let me first check the name of this measure. So if I bring my cursor here, the name of the measure is revenue only. But if I check this, this is also revenue. Okay, let me just check. Like how to check in measure name. So this is a measure with the name revenue. It is present in the measure table. If I go back here, this is also revenue, and this is also come from measure table. So I'm using only one revenue. And why it is showing total revenue? Because there is, if I go to format option and there is edit interaction, so if I select this slicer, and if I choose edit interaction, then see here, edit interaction is made none, so none is highlighted. Here I choose filtered. So what will happen? This visual will get impact by this slicer, because here none has not been selected. It means this slicer will able to filter out this visual. But here, since none has been highlighted, if you see this, none has been highlighted, it means this slicer cannot impact this visual. And because of that, I'm always getting the total revenue. So this slicer will not able to filter out the total revenue. If I choose filter, then this revenue and this revenue is same, both are same. If I choose none, this will going to show the total revenue, because I have gone to the format. Under that we have option to edit interaction, and I have made none. It means when I choose any value in this slicer, this visual will not get impacted, although both the visual is using the same measure. If I just show you, if you go here and choose, if I choose this measure, this is also using revenue measure that is present in measure table. If I select this visual and then hover over my cursor on the field, it is also using revenue measure from measure table. So both visual are using the same measure, but the value are different. Why the value are different? Because when I select this slicer, and when I go to edit interaction, here I have allowed the filtering of this visual, but here I do not allowed the filtering of my this visual by this slicer. And because of that, I'm getting the total revenue. Now, so this is one way of preventing the filtration. Now, what is the other way of preventing the filtration? That we have created total revenue by all. If I just recall it and just show you, in the previous class I have shown that we have used calculate. Under that we have used sum function, where we are doing the sum of annual revenue. But what I have done it, I have used all DAX function. What this all DAX function will do, it will remove any filter that will going to impact the sales table that we have discussed in the previous class. And because of that, uh, if I select any of the producer, the value inside this slicer will remain same, and that is 1310.669k. Okay. Although if you choose this slicer and then go to format, under that if you go to edit interaction, and if you make filter also, then also it will not able to filter. Why it will not be able to filter? Because this measure contain, this measure contain the function DAX function. All this DAX function will apply the filter context. It will going to apply the filter context. What it will do, inside this sales table, if there is any slicer that will going to filter the sales table, it will not allowed the impact of filtration. So it will not allow to filter that table while doing this aggregation. And because of that, I always get 1310.669k. Right. So I have two measure. One is revenue measure, another is total revenue by all. And using these two measure, I will be going to get the what is the total revenue contribution by each of the producer, okay, in percentage. So for that, let me just check. is that measure, so here is that measure, revenue contribution, you know uh, let me write each. So here I will provide numerator, as revenue measure, because this value will going to change. And at the denominator, I will provide my this total revenue by all measure. So whenever you want to call the measure, you need to start with this, a square bracket, and I will be getting the name of all my measure. Okay. So I will be choosing, revenue, total revenue by all. So this is the measure I will be choosing. Now, the third parameter is alternate result. So suppose, this value will have like 5, and this will become 0. So 5 divided by 0 is infinity. So in that case, it this will be going to result into error, and it will be going to pass us the alternate result. So what I'm trying to say, let me explain. So if I come to this, Excel sheet, and what I'm trying to say, if my numerator is 5, and if my denominator is 0, and if I divide 5 by 0, it will going to give me infinity. Okay. When you divide 5 by 0, it will give you infinity, and because of that, it is giving me this error. Okay. To handle this type of scenario, you know we are using divide function. So here I am providing numerator, I am providing denominator, and if this type of scenario is occurred, then divide function will going to provide us the alternate result. What I'm saying, give me alternate result as 0. Now I'm done. My this divide function start here, divide function ends here. Divide function need three parameter: numerator, denominator, and then alternate result. Let me remove this, parenthesis, and let me click on commit button. Okay. Now I will take one card visual. So I will first select on empty space, and then go and I will choose one card visual. Here it is. Or what you can do, instead of using that, what you can do, since I already have this already card visual, and I will copy it and control V to paste. So there will be one copy of this visual getting created. What I will do, I will remove this measure, and I will choose the measure that I created, that is revenue contribution by each. So that will start from R. So here it is. So as of now, it is showing 0.001k. Okay. So for that, let me go here, and first, I will change my tile. As of now, it is showing total revenue. I will write revenue contribution. Okay. So now the header has changed. Here the header, it was total revenue. Now it is changed to revenue contribution. Now it is showing 0.00k because it is in thousand. Okay. So I will go here, and I will change the unit to none. So display unit is 1000, and that's why the value is saying 0.00k. What I will do, I will choose none. So here it is showing 0.101. Okay. So what I will going to do, since these are percentage, so I will convert my measure into percentage. So this is my measure. So I will select this, and this value should be in percentage. As of now, if you come here, this is the name of my measure, that is revenue contribution. And this measure is inside which table? So this measure is created inside measure table. So this is my measure table, and inside this table, this measure has been created. So that is called home table. You can even change the home table also. So if you want that this measure should not be present into this measure table, it should be present into some account category or account or data, you can choose it from here. The measure will shift to this table, but the definition of the measure remains same. There is no change in the definition of the measure. Now, since I need to convert this into percentage, so what I will do, I will choose from here percentage. See, so what it is telling, I have selected producer 4. So let me increase the for size of the producer. This is slicer, and let me go to format and remove the edit interaction. Yeah. So see, I have this is my slicer, and inside this my slicer, what I have done it, I have chooses producer 4. Producer 4 revenue contribution is 133K. What is the total revenue contribution by all producer? That is 1,1310.669K. This is the total revenue. So if you divide 133K by this number, it goes to 10.12%. So the revenue contribution by producer 4 is 10%. So if you choose producer 1, the revenue contribution by producer 1 is 3%. If you choose producer 2, the revenue contribution is 17%. So the producer 2 contribute, uh, 224K revenue. The total revenue is this amount. The revenue contribution by producer 2 is 17%. If you choose producer 4, it is 10%. If producer 3, 31%. And producer 5, that is 38%. So producer 5 contribute revenue is 499K. This is the total revenue contribution, and the revenue percentage is 38.057. So our this revenue, total revenue and revenue contribution, here it is producer 3, 31.7%. Let me go and check. 31 six it, because we are using three decimal place, they are using two decimal place, sorry, one decimal place. So what I will do, if you want one decimal places, what you can do, you can come under visualization, go here, and under call out value, you can change decimal to one decimal place, and I suppose 31.7%, exactly same value, 31.7%. So I suppose these three measure has been, we have created, and this slicer is done. Okay. Now let me check who want to join. Yeah. Okay, guys. Anyone have any questions related to uh, producer contribution? You can ask. Nothing. Other people, is everything is clear? Akshay, Siddhant. If you have any query, please ask. Yeah. Let me have same formatting, so I will format and paste it here. And this is total revenue, so let me write it. And this is revenue contribution. Let me remove this. Okay, so remove. So that is done. Also, we have seen, if I choose producer 4, it will show producer 4. If I choose producer 2, it will going to show producer 2. If I choose nothing, it will going to show please select a producer. So this is how this is working. Now let's see other things also. Now we'll see, this date slicer. So if you see, we'll try to see this date slicer also. So if I choose 2017, it will going to show me, so now all this visual will going to impact by both the slicers. Slicer, first this is a producer slicer and this is a year slicer. So if you see, if I choose producer 3, this is showing the producer 3 is selected, and also it will going to show me the revenue for producer 3 in 2017 is null, is blank, is blank. Yeah. If I choose producer 4, so like revenue of producer 4 in 2017 is blank. If I choose 2018, let's check, it has some revenue 44K. If I choose 19, it has 88K. So something, if your end user want to see slice and dice of your data based on year also, like for producer 4 they want to check, 2017, it has contributed nothing. 2018, so 44K. 2019, it is 88K. What is the revenue contribution? 6.7%. So now they also need slicer for year. Okay. They need also slicer for year. So if you see, we have already created year dim table, year dimension table. Okay. We have already created year dimension table. Why we have created year dimension table? Let me explain you. Okay. Uh, so so if I go to this data modeling, the reason remains same. Why we are creating produce dimension table? Because in your data modeling or in your report there might be two fact table or more than two fact table, that is possible, right? And if you are using columns from, this one of the fact table, that column will not going to filter out the another fact table. Okay. If you are using column from one fact table in the slicer, that slicer will not going to filter out the another fact table. To make sure that your slicer will filter the value of all the fact table, you should always use the column in the slicer from the dimension table. Always use column from the dimension table in the slicer, and that dimension table should have relation with all the fact table. So it have relationship with the sales fact table, it has relationship with the sales table with date fact table. Okay, both the fact table. And that's why I created dimension table. It is always a good practice, whenever you are creating any report, whenever you are creating any report, your report should have, some date related filter, so that, normally, because client want to, track the data based on date also, so it should have, date slicer. And for that, you should have date dimension table. So here I have already created year dimension table. How I have created, let me show you. So if I go to transform data to open my power query, to open my power query so this is year dim table. Let me open this year dim table, and let me check its source. So if I go to source, its source is saying sales. Why it is saying sales? Because I duplicated my sales table. So I have this my sales table. If I duplicate my sales table, then like this, it will going to shape. So let me, just show you. If I duplicate my sales table, right click to duplicate. Okay. This is sales 2. And you know sorry, let me delete it. Not duplicate, I reference this sales table. So what happened, this is my sales table. If I reference my sales table, if I just right click and choose reference, it will show equal to sales. So what will happen, if I make any changes into my this sales table, or if the data into this sales table is changing, there will be the same impact will be seen here. So like what I'm trying to say, suppose in coming future, I'm not getting primary producer column. Primary producer column is not present now here. So same here also, I will not get primary producer here. See, that column is not present here. Let me discard this change, and now I have a primary producer. Same table will have primary producer now here. Second column. So that's why if I go to year dim table, and if I go to source, why it is saying sales. So what I have referenced my sales table. So I have this data, and now I had date column. So what I had done it, I have removed all the column. So if I you know see, I have removed. So what I have done it, let me just show you once again. So let me reference this. Then what I have choose this date column, and right click, and there is option to remove the other column. So what will happen, the selected column will be there, other column get removed. So stage column, account column, it all every column, other column will get removed. So since I selected only date column, so date column is there, other column got removed. Now if you see the second transformation, what I have done it, I have created one column, and with the name year. So if you see table dot add column, so added one column. Yeah. And what I have done it, I have extracted the year from all these dates. So this is 28th of June 2018, so I got 18. This is 16th of November 2017, so I got 17, and so on. So from this date, I extracted the year. How to do it? Let me show you. So this is date, let's go to add column, and you will be having date. You will be having date, you know, just choose year. So we'll have a new column, and we'll getting a year. So if it is 2018, I have 18, 2017, I have 17, 2017, 17. It's 19, I have 19, and so on. Same way I will get a year. Now, if you see that, what I have done next, I have got quarter. So this is 28th of June 2018. It will be in second quarter, so I got second quarter. It, it is in November, quarter will be fourth, and so on. How to do that? Same way. You choose this date, you go to add column, and go to date, and you choose quarter. So quarter of the year. You choose quarter of the year, and you will get quarter. So we have quarter now. Again, now you go to remove the error. So in date, there might be some error. So we have removed that. Okay. Okay. So we done that, and then remove duplicate. So if there is some duplicate into this date column, so duplicate. Why I'm removing duplicate? Because dimension table should have at least one column that is unique in nature. And whenever you are creating dimension table, calendar dimension table, this is a calendar dimension table. So whenever you are creating any calendar dimension table, your date value should be unique. Your date value should be unique. your date value should be unique. And because of that, I go on to date column, right click, and you will get option to remove duplicate, and all the duplicate value that was present inside this date column will get removed. So now I will have only unique date, their year, and their quarter. And even you can get month also. So if you need month, you can go. So you need to select date, and from that you go to add column, and then you choose month. Right? So I will have month number as well. So it is June, so 6th, so on, like 11, and so on. And this is how you will be able to create your calendar dimension table. So ideally, it should not be named as year div, but it should be named as calendar dimension. Calendar dimension. I'm calling as a calendar because it has date, it has year, it has quarter, it has month, and then you can find the week also, and that is also possible. So you can find that. You can extract from this date. You can get the week also. And why I'm calling this dimension table, because the value of the date is unique. That's why I'm calling this calendar dimension table. Same way I have created year date. Now let me go back to home and let me close and apply. So whatever the changes that I have done at Power Query side, it will now will going to reflect into uh, my Power BI desktop. Let it load. So it will going to load soon. So now the data has been loaded, and if you go to table view, and if you go to your calendar dimension table, you will have all these data. Now see, I have all this data. So I have date, year, quarter, and month. And let me check. Power BI has not detected any relationship by default relationship. So no relationship has been detected. So this is good. Now, what you can do, since I want that my this calendar dimension table should be filtering all all other fact table. So I have this my fact table as sales table. So this sales table and this calendar dimension table should have relationship, and the relationship will be based on date column. So I will drag and drop date column here, and by default relationship will going to create it. So I have this window with the new relationship wherein we have a calendar dimension table and this sales table, and the relationship is happening on date column. The relationship is one to many because the calendar dimension table have unique value in the date column, but sales table have repeating value on into this date column. And since this is one to many relationship, so cross filter direction is single by default. So see, there is a one relationship and cross filter direction is single, and that is always from one side to many side, from one to many side. Now if I go back here in my report view, and if I go to page 1, now if I choose another slicer, so let me copy this slicer, copy this visual, and control V to paste, and let me have here. Okay, what I will do, I will remove primary producer from here, and into this visual I will bring year from my dimension table that I have created. So this is my calendar dimension table, and I will bring year here. So I have 2018, 19, 1900, and 17. So let me arrange it, and let me make bigger in size the value that is appearing here. So if I go to here, and if I go to slicer setting, and if I go to values, I can change the value font to 20. So I have here. So I have 19, 2017, 18, and 19. Now, if I choose 1900, see the values are changing. If I choose 17, you know, the values are changing. If I choose 18, the values are changing. If I choose 19, the values are changing. So, in like producer one, let me expand it and make the value bigger in size so that you guys can see. Yeah. Now, so what is happening? Producer one in year 2018 has contributed 40K revenue, right? Total revenue is 1.31. The contribution is 3.1%. If you choose, producer two, producer two in 2018 revenue contribution is 10K. The total is 1.31 million. The contribution percent is 0.83%, 0.8%. Then we have 2019, and the data is changing and so on. So this is how you will be going to accommodate the two slices. One is a producer slicer, the another is date slicer. These values are changing. The values are changing. Now, so be done with this slicers, producer slicers. Be done with this date slicers, and now what we're going to do, then we have this close account ID. So let me see this measure and what was the requirement that we're going to see. Okay. Okay. Now see, so what we have to do, we have to give the count of close account ID. So what is happening, we need to count the account name where the stage number is 3. So what I'm trying to say, if I go to my sales table, you know and expand it, and if I go to see the stage name, if I go to see the stage name, now what I'm trying to see, if I go to a stage name, if you see, I'm getting value as 1, then I'm getting value as 2, I'm getting value as a 3. So 1, 2, 3 values are repeating. What it is showing, if the value is 1, it means the producer has just started the conversation with the client for some delivery. If the a stage name has two suffix prefix, sorry, it has suffix as two, a prefix as two, you know it says that they have made some progress, and they are awaiting from the uh, client feedback. And if they good client feedback, that particular listing has gone to the stage 3. And the stage 3 is that their conversation has been done, the deal has been done, and they will be able to provide product to the client. So that's why it is showing closed one. Closed one means the deal has been closed, and the producer has won it. Okay. So by just seeing all this data, by seeing the value of a stage name, what I'm trying to understand, that if it has prefix as 3, it means the producer has converted the deal. And because of this deal, they will going to make some revenue. Because of this deal, they will going to make some revenue. So if you just if you want to check how many, the deal has been completed by my producer, like primary. So what I'm trying to say, let me remove this slicers from here. So what I'm trying to say, my producer one, has made zero deal completed, closed. So producer 2 has closed one, deal. Producer 3 has, closed 18 deal. Now, so if you want to see, how many deal has been closed by producer, 18, or producer 3, it is 18. If I want to check, how many deal, my producer 4 has closed, so it is only 6. How many deal, that producer 5 has closed, that is also 6. Okay. How I'm checking, I have a stage name. In a stage name, if the value is prefix as 3, it means the deal has been closed. If the value is 3, the deal has been closed. If the value is 3, the deal has been closed. So what you have to do, from this stage name, you just need to, extract this one two values. Like if it is 1, I should have one column where it will give me 1. If the value is 2, I should have a new column where, against this row it will going to give 2. If I have value 3, against this row it should give me 3. Like this, for each of the row I should get some value, and based on that 1 2 3, I will be, counting how many, deal has been closed. To do that, what I have to do, I have to create one calculated column. Why I'm creating calculated column? Because I need value for each row. So whenever you have to get a value for each row, like for this row I should have one value, for this row I should have some value, for this row I should have some value. So whenever you want to make some calculation, and in that particular calculation you need value for each of the row, then you should always go with creation of calculated column. It is also called row by row iteration. So for each row I need some value, for each rows I need some value. The value may be different from each row. So whenever you have to iterate row by row, then you have to go with calculated column, and this is called row context. This is called row context. So for each of the row, I need some value. For each of the row, I need some value. So my expression will going to return one value for one row, and that is called row context. Why I'm repeating? Because in interview they will going to ask you the difference between row context and filter context. So I already shown, how calculate is helping me in filter context. So which I have shown, like if we have this for closed id, and if we try to understand, so what I'm doing, I'm, counting the distinct value of account name. But before that, what I will do, I will, filter my sales table into a stage number column. I will apply filter as 3. So this will going to, filter first, it will apply the filter on sales table, and based on remaining column this aggregation will happen. So if sales column has, 70 rows, and when this filter will going to apply, after application of this filter, now I have only 30 rows. So on 30 rows this aggregation will happen. So this is called filter context. What it means, the first filter will going to apply, and on remaining column only this aggregation will happen. So this is called filter context. Calculate is helping me applying filter context. What is going to help me in applying the row context? That is creation of calculated column. What will happen in row context? For each of the row, I will have one value. So I will create calculated column. For that, I will right click and I will get a column as a new column, and I will name that column as a stage number. I'm saying demo because I already okay. Now what I will do, I will use one of the function that is called lift. Lift function, it need first parameter as a text or any column that has text data type or a string data type. Since my stage name column has stage name, column has data type as text name. From this I need one first alphabet from this row. So what I'm trying to say, I have used I have used left function. What this left function will do, it will take a string. So a string is coming from a stage name. So what it do, I got here one. How I got here one, let me explain you that. So this is my stage name, this is a string. If you see the data type of this column, it is text data type or a string data type. So from this text value, and this is right hand side, this is sorry, this is left hand side, this is right hand side. So since I use left function will going to give me the digit from this string or alphabet from this string. So the first alpha is 1. Into this string, this first alphabet is 1. Into this string, the first alphabet is 2. Into this string, the first alphabet is 1. Into this string, the first alphabet is 2. Into this string, the first is 1. Here it is 3. So it will going to give me one value from each string. So I will get value as 1 1 2 1 1 2 1 3 and so on. So if you go to a stage number, and if I choose 3 here, so it will give me, sorry, I wrote 13, so it will give me all the 13. So since I have written 13, so what it will do, from this string, it will take the 13 decimals, first 13. So it will take 1, then it will take hyphen, then it will take met, then a space, then client, then comma, data. Combine, if you count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 comma 13. So I will have this value 1 hyphen met client comma. So 13, first 13 from left. So if you choose 3, it will going to give you 3, first 3 from left. So from left, if it is giving me first 3 value. Right will take value from right side. So as of now I need only the first value or string value, that is present inside each of the text value. So I'm getting 1 2 and 3. Why I'm taking created calculated column. See the calculated column, this expression that I have written, this expression is evaluated for each row. Means this expression has executed for each row, and I'm getting one different value for each of the row. For each row, I'm getting one separate value. So this is called row by row iteration, or this is even called row context. Okay. So calculated column will give you row context, whereas calculate function or even the slicer that we are using, the slices that we are using, this will going to give you filter context. Now I will create one measure, and that particular measure will going to give me the close account id. That particular measure will going to give me the close account id. If you see the definition of the close account id, what it is showing, it has used calculate function. And what it is doing, it is doing the distinct count of account name, where stage name is 3. Why stage name is 3? Because this will going to first filter out where the deal is only closed. It will only going to filter out where the deal is closed. What I'm trying to tell you, let me come back here. And if I apply the filter on stage number demo, and apply for filter for 3. So earlier this table has 170 rows, but after filtering it has only 72 rows. So out of 170 rows, it has 72 rows where the stage number is 3. Means only 73 rows are there where the deal has been closed. So if you come back here, and if you check the value of stage name, you see 3 closed, 1 closed, 1 closed, 1 closed. Means all these 72 deal has been closed, and it has done by producer 5, producer 4, producer 3, and so on. So these deal has been closed. Okay, so when in this measure, what will happen, first this filter will applied on this stage number column for the value 3. First this filter will going to apply, and on remaining 72 rows this count distinct will going to work. It will not apply on all 170 rows. It will only apply, this expression will only going to evaluate it or calculate it on only 72 rows, not on 170 rows, only 72 rows. So what is happening, first I am applying the filter on a stage number column, and on remaining rows of a table I am evaluating my this expression. This is called filter context. And which function is going is helping me to do that, calculate function is helping me to do that. Okay, so what I will do, we can create one new measure, and I will deal close. I will name that measure as a deal closed. I will name that measure as a deal close. Yeah, and I will use calculate, because first I will filter out which deal has been closed, and then I will going to run my expression. So what is the expression that I will going to say, distinct count. So I will distinct count the stage name. So stage name is present inside sales table. Okay, so I'm taking sales table stage name, do the distinct count of stage name, but only for rows where the stage number is a stage number demo is equal to 3, is equal to 3. And I have closed my function. Yeah, now let's come back here, and I will take this measure, or I will create one card visual. and here I will bring my deal closed measure. So here it is saying blank. So if producer 2 has contributed nothing in 2019, 1900, in 1900 producer 2 has contributed blank, contributed nothing, so it is showing blank. I don't want blank, I want this value as a 0. So what you have to do, you need to tweak your measure. So what you can do, you can add 0 to your value. So you are getting this value, you add the 0 to this. So it plus 0. So what will happen when nothing is there? It will show 0. It's showing 0. If the value is there, it will show some value. So like if I choose 18 or 2019, the value is here 1, so it is showing 1. If the value is blank, it will show 0. So if I choose producer 3 in 2019, if I choose 4, producer 5, let me just check. Let me check. But this value is always 1. Let me just check which table I'm using. Distinct count of stage name, right? Let me just check the data type of this column that I've created. So what I'm trying to say, if I'm choosing any producer, the value remain either 0 or either 1. Here 1, producer 4 1 also, I did not show 1. Let me just check. So what we can do, why? Because if you see the definition of measure, what I'm saying, the stage number demo should be equal to 3. I put 3 in double quote. Double quote means I'm considering this value as a text. Let me just check whether the data type is text or not. So let me go to this column, select this column and check the data type. The data type is text here. Fine. Okay, let me remove the filter. So let me choose 3, and let me see this stage number. So what is the stage name? Choose a stage name. The value of stage name remain same, and because of that I'm getting only one value as distinct. What I have to do? I have to get the distinct value of account name, not the stage name. Since a stage name remains same, all the value inside a stage name remains same only, and that's why distinct value of a stage name will be only one, because all the value are same only. So instead of doing a distinct count of a stage name, I should go with distinct count of account. I should go with distinct count of account. Account means client. So with how many client my producer has made the deal. So I should go with count of name, count of account name, not count of a stage name. So I will change my measure, and here I will not say as a stage name, but it should be account name. It should be account name. It should be account. Now if I click, commit, this change will be there. And now, yeah, see, the value are changing now. I'm getting exact value. If I choose producer 3, it is 18, producer 2, it is 1, producer 1, it is 0. And even for producer 3, you can choose in 2018, it has done 5 deal. In 2014, it has done 14. In 17, done 0, and 19, done 0. So this is how even you can check this measure. So whenever you are creating measure and you have used that particular measure into any visual, just try to check at your own level whether the something that you are developing is correct or not. This is called unit testing. So as a developer, whenever you create any product, you need to check it, whether that product is working fine or not. Okay. Yeah, so this is all. So all these three things are done. These two slices are done. Even the headers and all these are done. In the next class, what we'll try to do, we'll try to understand all these visuals. And once this is done, in the next class we'll create all the visuals. This will not going to take much time. And once this is done, we'll try to understand one of the important topic of Power BI, and that is called row level security. This is very very important. That is called RLS. Okay, row level security. In every interview, you there will be one question from this topic. In every, this is very very important. And because, yeah, because this will going to control your data, you know so suppose there is one report, that is Gallagher sales report. And if I open this report for year 2017, here I see for quarter 3 I see 71K. Or suppose the close account I'm seeing 6, you know somebody else will going to see no data, or will see different data. Same report I'm opening, I'm seeing different data. Some other people will open, they will see their own data, not other. So the data that it will be seen here will be different, and that is controlled by role level security. So like what will happen if I just give you some idea. So there are three managers. Suppose we have few manager in USA and some manager in India. Okay, and there is CEO. So what I want, I am creating one report. This report has data for USA, India. Okay, both the data. What I want, my manager who present in USA will only able to see, will have access of USA data. Similarly, manager who is in India will have access of India data. And the CEO, since he is a CEO, he should have access of all data. Access of India plus USA data. And like you cannot create, three different report. So one for USA, another for India, another for, the whole data. Since this report has complete data. So if I open, I will also able to see all data. If some other people will also open, they will also see all data. But when you want to control that, if my manager who is in USA will able to see USA data, manager in India will have access of India data. CEO, since he should have access of all the data. So if this type of control you want to apply, on your report, then this can be done using row level security. So there is a very good feature that is available in Power BI, and using this feature, you will be able to apply this requirement. You will able to do that, and in probably in next class, if we'll able to complete all this visual, we're going to start with row level security, because this is very very important concept. And since you are creating one report, and this report is accessed by everyone, whether people in India or people in USA, this type of report is called global report. This type of report is called global report. A single report which is used throughout your organizations. People in manager which are in India using the same report, manager in USA using the same report. Okay, but we have the control. So this level of control, this can be achieved row level security. So whenever you are creating any global report, and whenever if you are, because as a Power BI developer, you are very close to higher management, or the people those who are taking the decision, because only those people will going to use this report and dashboard. So as a Power BI developer, you should know how to maintain the security of your data or privacy of your data, and these can be only done using row level security. So I will be teaching you that. Okay, that's all for the today, guys. If you have your query,